Ali was a young student with a restless heart and a dream that refused to die. Ever since he was a teenager, he had wanted to speak English fluently. Not just to pass exams, not just to memorize rules, but to actually use the language with confidence, to connect with people from different parts of the world, and to open doors that felt locked in his life. He imagined himself studying at a university abroad, sitting in classrooms where everything was taught in English, and answering questions without hesitation. He pictured working in a multinational office, where meetings happened in English and colleagues came from different countries. He dreamed of traveling, chatting with strangers in airports, ordering food in restaurants, and making friends without fear. To him, English was not just a language, it was freedom. But reality was harsher. Every time he tried to study, the dream slipped further away. At night, he sat at his desk with grammar books stacked high like bricks. He underlined rules, copied sentences, and tried to memorize endless word lists. Yet the words didn't stay. By the next day, his mind was blank. "Why do I forget everything?" he muttered. His frustration grew until he slammed the books shut. Ali also carried a heavy belief that real English could only be learned abroad. If only I could live in London or New York, he thought, then I would be fluent. But stuck in his own city, surrounded by people who rarely spoke English, he felt trapped. How can I ever practice? How can I improve when no one around me speaks the language? The thought made him hopeless. Life outside studies was no easier. Ali was juggling college assignments, a part-time job, and family duties. His days passed like a race, leaving him exhausted. Even when he found 10 spare minutes, he didn't know how to use them. The little voice in his head whispered cruelly, "Maybe you're just not good at languages. Maybe English isn't for you." And yet, deep inside, a flame kept burning. Ali refused to fully give up. He remembered the times he had felt inspired watching motivational videos or listening to speakers who used English with charm and confidence. He wanted that for himself. More than anything, he wanted to prove that he could do it. One late night, unable to sleep, Ali scrolled on his phone. Aimlessly moving from one app to another, he stumbled across a podcast called English Unleashed. The name caught his attention. Unleashed. It sounded like breaking free, like removing the chains of doubt. Curiosity pushed him to tap play. A warm voice greeted him. "Hello and welcome to English Unleashed, the podcast for learners who want to speak English with more confidence and joy. I'm Tom, and I'm here to help you speak English more naturally, step by step, day by day." Ali froze. The voice was calm, clear, and surprisingly easy to follow. Unlike his textbooks, this didn't feel boring or difficult. Tom continued, "You don't need to live in London. You don't need a native speaker next to you. You don't need to study for hours every night. What you need are small, smart steps. Steps that fit into your daily life, steps that help you feel more natural, more confident." Ali felt something stir in his chest. For the first time in years, he thought, maybe there's another way. Maybe this dream isn't impossible after all. That night, as he put his phone down, he didn't just hear English. He heard hope. The morning after listening to English Unleashed, Ali woke up with a strange energy in his heart. For months, he had dragged himself through each day, convinced English was impossible. But now, a tiny spark had been lit. He could still hear Tom's voice from the night before, small, smart steps. Habits you can repeat every day. Ali thought about it as he got ready for college. Habits, not rules. Steps, not mountains. This idea was new to him. He had always tried to swallow English whole, studying for hours, memorizing rules until his head hurt. But what if he tried something smaller, something lighter? As he brushed his teeth, he opened the podcast again. This time he listened to the same episode from the night before. Tom spoke slowly and clearly, and Ali noticed new details. The rhythm of the sentences, the pauses between words, even the cheerful tone. He found himself smiling. "This isn't studying," Ollie whispered. "This feels like listening to a friend." On the bus to college, Ollie pressed play on another episode. Tom's advice was simple. Make English part of your daily life. Don't wait for a perfect time or perfect place. Listen while you walk, while you cook, while you travel. Even 10 minutes a day will change you. Ollie thought about his routine. He didn't have hours to study, but he did have small moments. Waiting in line for food, riding to college, cleaning his room. I can use these moments, he decided. Instead of wasting them, I'll fill them with English. At lunchtime, Ollie shared his new idea with his friend Hassan. "I started listening to this podcast," Ollie said, his eyes glowing. "The speaker talks so clearly. He says we don't need London, we don't need native speakers. We just need habits." Hassan laughed. "Habits? Bro, English needs teachers, classes, expensive courses. You really think listening to some podcast will make you fluent?" Ollie hesitated but then shook his head. "I don't know yet. But it feels different. It feels possible." That evening, Ollie decided to test Tom's advice. He played a short episode, paused after a sentence and repeated it out loud. At first his tongue twisted. Words like confidence and naturally felt heavy. He stumbled, laughed nervously and tried again. But after a few repetitions his voice sounded smoother. He wrote in his notebook. Rule number 1. English is not a mountain. It's a road. Walk step by step. Rule number 2. Use daily life. Listen anywhere, anytime. For the first time, his notes weren't grammar rules or long lists of vocabulary. They were ideas that felt alive. Before sleeping, Ollie replayed one last line from the podcast. Don't wait for confidence. Create it through action. He repeated it softly to himself, almost like a prayer. Don't wait for confidence. Create it through action. That night, Ollie didn't just dream about English. He dreamed about the road ahead, one he was finally ready to walk. Ollie was changing and he could feel it. What had once felt like a heavy burden was now starting to feel like an exciting journey. But the real test was consistency. Would he keep going every single day or would the spark fade away like all the other times? On Monday morning, Ollie put on his earphones before leaving for college. Instead of scrolling social media, he opened English Unleashed. Tom's voice filled his ears. Tip number 1. Listen to English every day. Not once a week, not only in class, every day. Listening trains your ears. It teaches rhythm. It makes words feel natural. Ollie nodded to himself. He realized he had wasted so many hours before, hours scrolling videos in his own language. Now he could replace them with something that actually helped. As the bus rattled along, he played a 5-minute story from the podcast. At first, he only caught a few words. Confidence, practice, natural. But instead of panicking, he remembered Tom's advice. You don't need to understand 100%. Even if you understand 30 or 50%, it's still useful. Just let the sounds enter your ears. That thought gave him peace. He leaned back, closed his eyes, and let the English words flow through him like background music. By the end of the week, Ollie had built a new rhythm. He listened while walking to the market, while helping his mother cook dinner, even while exercising. 10 minutes here, 15 minutes there. It didn't feel like studying, it felt like living. One evening, his younger sister Noor noticed him humming along to an English podcast intro. "Bye, you're obsessed," she laughed. "You even listen while peeling onions?" Ollie chuckled. "Yes. English is my new background music." But it wasn't just about listening, it was about noticing. Slowly, Ollie began to catch patterns. He realized how often speakers said phrases like, step by step, or little by little. He started to feel the natural rhythm of English, short, punchy, musical. Excited, he opened his notebook and wrote. Rule number 3, don't chase words. Chase rhythm. English is music. One day in class, his teacher asked the students to read a short passage aloud. When Ollie's turn came, something surprising happened. He read more smoothly than before. His classmates noticed and even his teacher raised an eyebrow. Very good, Ollie. Your voice sounds clearer today. Ollie's heart raced. The habit was working. The hours of listening, the repeated sounds, they were shaping his brain and his tongue without him even realizing. That night he wrote another line in his notebook. Listening daily equals invisible progress. You don't see it but you feel it. For the first time in his life, Ollie didn't feel like a slow learner. He felt like a traveler moving forward on a road that actually led somewhere. The more he listened, the lighter his steps became. And deep inside, he knew this was only the beginning. By now, Ollie's listening habit had grown strong. Every day, English flowed through his ears, on the bus, in the kitchen, in the quiet of his room. But one thought kept echoing in his mind: listening is great, but speaking, that's how you grow strong. Tom's voice from the podcast had said it clearly: shadow what you hear. Copy the voice. Match the rhythm. Don't wait for perfection, just practice. Ollie decided it was time. That evening after dinner, he closed the door to his room. He sat at his desk with his headphones on and opened one of his favorite podcast episodes. His heart beat faster. Speaking out loud in English had always made him nervous, even when no one was watching. But tonight he was determined. The first sentence came through his speakers. I want to speak English fluently. Ollie hesitated, then repeated, I want to speak English fluently. His voice cracked a little. The next line played. I don't understand everything, but I keep going. Ollie repeated, more firmly this time, I don't understand everything, but I keep going. Another line. I'm improving little by little. Ollie smiled as he repeated, I'm improving little by little. At first he stumbled. Some words felt heavy on his tongue, like confidence or naturally. But with every attempt, he felt himself growing more comfortable. It was like training a muscle he had never used before. He began shadowing every day, sometimes for just 5 minutes, sometimes for 20. He practiced while walking to college, quietly mouthing the words. He practiced in front of the mirror, watching his lips move, noticing the rise and fall of his tone. Slowly, something incredible happened. English stopped feeling like memorized rules and started feeling like music. The rhythm of sentences, the stress on certain words, the pauses, it all began to sink into him. One morning while practicing in front of the mirror, Ollie froze. He had just repeated a sentence without hesitation, and for the first time he thought, that sounded real. That sounded like English. Excited, he opened his notebook and wrote in bold letters. Rule number 4, speak every day. Shadow with courage. Confidence comes after practice. At college, Ollie began to notice the difference too. When the teacher asked a question, his hand went up faster. His answers weren't always perfect, but his voice didn't shake anymore. His classmates looked at him differently, less like the quiet boy in the back, more like someone who had found his place. At home, Noor teased him again. Why are you talking to yourself in English all the time? Ollie laughed. Because I'm not just listening anymore. I'm speaking. For the first time in years, Ollie didn't feel like a silent learner. He was no longer hiding behind grammar books or waiting for the perfect moment. He was using his voice, and every day it grew stronger. That night, before sleeping, Ollie whispered to himself in English, I am not afraid anymore. And he knew it was true. Ollie's progress was clear. He had built a listening habit. He had found his voice through shadowing. But Tom's podcast had introduced an even bigger challenge. Start thinking in English, one thought at a time. At first, the idea sounded impossible. Ollie's entire life, his family, his friends, his city, existed in Urdu. His thoughts naturally flowed in his mother tongue. How could he switch that voice inside his head? But Tom's advice was clear. Don't try to think in big, complicated sentences. Start small. One thought at a time. So, Ollie decided to experiment. The next morning, as he brushed his teeth, instead of saying in Urdu, Mui jaldi karni hai, I need to hurry, he tried saying it in English, I need to hurry. The words felt strange in his head but also exciting. Later, while tying his shoelaces, he whispered, These shoes are tight. While stepping outside, he thought, It's sunny today. They were simple sentences, but they were his own thoughts, born directly in English without translation. At first he could only manage a few. His brain kept slipping back into Urdu, and he often caught himself halfway through a sentence. But every time he gently pushed himself back. No, try in English. One thought at a time. Over the next weeks, Ollie practiced this everywhere. Walking to college, he thought, the road is crowded. Waiting in line at the canteen, he whispered, I'm hungry. While sitting in class, he told himself, I understand this lesson. Something powerful was happening. English was no longer just a subject in his books. It was becoming part of his inner world. One evening, while helping his sister Noor with homework, she asked in Urdu, Bhai, can you pass me the pencil? Without thinking, Ali replied in English, Here you go. Noor frowned. Why are you speaking English? Ali laughed. Because now my brain doesn't always wait to translate. Noor giggled, shaking her head. You're becoming half English, Bhai. But inside, Ali felt proud. He was training his mind, not just his mouth. He added a new note in his notebook. Rule number 5. Train your brain. Think in English. One thought at a time. At college, this new habit gave him courage. During group work, when classmates spoke, he was already forming English responses in his mind. He didn't always speak up, but the preparation inside his head made him faster, sharper, more confident. One day, when his teacher suddenly asked him to summarize a short passage, Ali didn't panic. His brain had already been thinking in English silently. The words rolled off his tongue naturally. After class, Hassan pulled him aside. Bro, what's happening to you? You're speaking like a different person these days. Ali smiled. It's not magic. It's just practice. Listening, shadowing, thinking, step by step. That night, Ali lay in bed, his mind still buzzing. For the first time, his private thoughts were not only in Urdu. Some were in English too. And that, he realized, was the real breakthrough. English was no longer just something he learned. It was something he lived. Ali's journey had been slow but steady. From listening every day to shadowing with courage to thinking in English, step by step, he had built something strong inside himself. But he still wondered, was it enough? Could I actually use my English in real life? The answer came sooner than expected. One afternoon, his college hosted an English language day. Students were invited to participate in short speeches, debates, and storytelling. Ali had never even dreamed of standing on stage. The idea of speaking English in front of a crowd used to terrify him. But when the teacher asked for volunteers, something inside him whispered, this is your test. Don't wait. Before he could stop himself, Ali raised his hand. His classmates stared. Hassan nearly dropped his pen. You? On stage? Are you serious? Ali smiled nervously. Yes. Why not? That night, he prepared a small 2-minute speech. He didn't try to make it perfect. Instead, he wrote sentences he had practiced many times. I want to speak English fluently. I don't understand everything, but I keep going. I am improving little by little. The next day, when his name was called, Ali walked to the stage. His heart raced, his palms sweated, but he remembered Tom's voice. Confidence comes after action. He looked at the audience, took a deep breath, and began. At first, his voice trembled. But as he continued, the rhythm of English carried him. His listening, his shadowing, his thinking, it all came together in that moment. He didn't pause to translate. He didn't worry about mistakes. He just spoke. When he finished, the hall was silent for a second. Then came the applause, warm, loud, real. Ali's teacher smiled proudly. His classmates looked at him with new respect. Even Hassan shook his head in disbelief. Bro, you killed it. I didn't know you had it in you. Ali laughed, his chest full of pride. I didn't know either. But now I do. That evening as he walked home, Ali thought about how far he had come. A few months ago he had been stuck, silent, shy, hopeless. Today he had spoken in front of a crowd. When he reached his room, he opened his notebook and wrote his final lesson. Rule number 6. The real test is life. Speak without fear. Progress is not in books, it's in action. Ali closed the notebook and smiled. English was no longer a distant dream. It was part of his daily life, part of his thoughts, part of his voice. He remembered Tom's very first line, small, smart steps. Yes, Ali thought. That's all it takes. And I'm still walking the road.